if this is how I go, this is how I go. I liked cars a lot. My dad's got an all original 67 Vette that he bought from my mom when I was real little. I mean, he's got a 56 that he's got the parts for, and that's kind of like his retirement project. So like, I grew up with Corvettes, but I don't know, they were just always kind of like out of my reach, I guess. And while I was in the military, there was like a motorcycle club that we were all in that we had, and guys were starting to ride Harleys. The only other time I rode a motorcycle, I got when I was a kid. I got on a dirt bike and immediately drove it straight into a pool guardrail and went into the pool with it, and that was like the extent of my motorcycle career. But anyway, my tattoo artist there, I was like, I'm thinking about getting a Harley. Like, that'd be cool, like I'll be a dude with a Harley. So my tattoo artist was like, hey, I got an extra Sportster if you want to learn to ride on that. I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, well, I can promise you I'm probably gonna like destroy it, but we'll go for it. And he was like, hey, down is first, and then you just go up from there. Here's your clutch, here's your brake. And I putted around the cul-de-sac like 3 times. And I had to go. My wife and I had something to do, and I was like, I'll come back tomorrow and we'll, I'll pick it up. Well, I get there tomorrow, and he's like, hey man, we're doing a big poker run. Like, all the motorcycle clubs are going, there's like 100 bikes, like, let's go. And I was like, well, I guess that's how I'm learning how to ride a motorcycle. And so we immediately mobbed on the highway, and there's me, like this like little Sportster, and I got all these dudes, just these big burly dudes, and on their big Harleys, and there's me just like fighting the wind at like 90 miles an hour on this little Sportster. Like, oh my god, if this is how I go, this is how I go. Oh, it was purple too, I forgot that. It was like an ex-girlfriend's like purple Sportster. I'll teach you how to ride it. And then like it snowballed from there. And I mean, there were a lot of other motorcycle clubs there, some pretty big ones. And so we were kind of bar hopping. We'd hit a bar, and then get on the highway and then go to the next bar. And those guys, I mean, they're veterans. They're sitting there just putting down beers and chicken wings, and they're like, we're going again. Some guys got like the suicide shifters. I mean, just baggers. I mean, these dudes were wild. And like, there's me in the back. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay in the back. That way when I go down, I don't take 47 of you with me and you all go careening over me. Like, so I caught some flack, but they were like, like, it was kind of like a way to be, you know what I mean? Way to, I guess, man up. Like, you literally just learned how to ride a bike and you went on this like long poker run. Like, good for you. And then like, of course, like those guys are like, well, let's like make him crash. So we're just gonna like cook. Let's see how fast we can go. This thing's just like, like just going, you know what I mean? It sounds like a damn weed eater. Yeah, I remember like being on there with like, they had this stupid half helmet with like bomber goggles, because I didn't even have a helmet at the time. I just like grabbed one of his extra ones, because I literally was just learning how to ride the bike, and he was like, no dude, we're going. And I was like, okay. And like these semis, passing these semis, and they're just pushing off so much wind, and I felt like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, you know what I mean? Just like fighting it. I looked like a goon, man, just like, who invited this guy? Like, is he prospecting for something? Did we pick him up on the way, or what are we doing with this guy? He's back there fighting the wind on a semi truck. Like, it was wild. I got back and I was like, babe, we're getting ready to deploy. Harley does a deal overseas. And I was like, I need to take the training wheels off. I need a big boy bike. And this little motor's not doing it. So I got the 103 on the Y Glide. I was like, it'll be sweet. It's all raked out. It looks cool. I won't be that goon back there. Like, I didn't even have, like, these guys are in like thick, like leather. Like, they're just looking awesome. And I had like a polo leather jacket. You know what I mean? Like, it was like a nice jacket. It was like at that moment that I stepped back and like reevaluated my life decisions. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna be this, I need to really like step up my game. I need to get the real clothes. I need to match. So that's what I did. I went out and I bought some helmets. I bought full leather gear, and bought it new in January, and I laid it down in February because riding in the winter, hit ice on a turn outside my house. Just going around a turn. It was night and like black asphalt, and I guess there was ice. And so the next thing I know, I was just sideways, stone cold sober. And I hadn't been drinking like that. It was gone. And then we were spinning. I guess a good wake up call. My helmet took most of it, my helmet and my hip. So like that helmet was pretty much toast, but saved the bike for the most part. I hoisted that thing up and like rode it home, cursing the whole way, and got it fixed. And I guess I was a little more careful after that, but like you're free. We would go on these long, like to visit like friends' grave sites in different states, that had been killed overseas or whatever, and we would go and visit. And those were really cool rides, and especially through the mountains. I ended up selling that when I moved back home. It's hard to find people to ride, and like going to the gym and stuff, like, wearing jeans here especially in St. Louis, it's so hot and humid, and it's like, going to the gym, and I have all my gym stuff, and then I gotta wear a backpack or something, and that's just hot. The helmet, and then you change to the gym, and then you get sweaty, and then you gotta put all that stuff back on and ride. Then when we decided to have kids, my wife was kind of like, we both made the decision that, maybe a motorcycle isn't the safest thing. So I ended up selling that, and then we shopped for, I don't know, a couple months, found the car for me, and it's a 2008, but it's cam, headers, exhaust. It's got a lot of little goodies added onto it. So we got lucky, found this one, and zipped right down to Texas and picked it up. It was kind of a thrown in the fire thing too, so that was a fun little experience on how to drive a manual. So the 500 wheel horsepower car, just jump in. The Corvette's nice because it has the target top. You can take that off, roll the windows down, so you do get that open air fun factor. They're loud, they're American. People know when you're coming by, but it's a good substitute.